Good evening. Welcome back to Tropical Chatter, your go-to source for online information regarding 2017 hurricane season. Let's jump right into it as we have Category 1 Hurricane Maria approaching the Outer Banks of North Carolina. This is still a Category 1 storm. The center of the circulation is in this area here. The core is basically void of pretty much bad weather, strong winds. We stop this and circle and outline the area of the worst weather. The strongest of the winds are in this area here, and this will rotate close to the Outer Banks over the next day or two. Storm surge and flooding are the main concerns. So we're going to go to the infrared satellite, get a little bit better of an image here as night has set on the visible satellite. Let's put this to the end of it. So the center of the system, like I said, was in this area here. The worst of weather is outside of the core in this area here, and this will rotate onshore. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, 2 to 4 foot of storm surge, about 1 to 2 inches of rain, gusts to 60 miles an hour. Overall, it's not a majorly impactful system. Over the next day or so, it's going to drift north, maybe a hair west of north, get about even with the Outer Banks, and then make a hard right-hand turn out to sea. We weren't sure over the past couple of days how close this was going to get. Was it going to be 50 miles? Was it going to be 150 miles? Right now, it does look like it's going to be closer to, the eastern edge of what we were, debating. So this is going to bring, fringe tropical storm conditions, moderate tropical storm conditions to the Outer Banks. Like we said, about 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts, 1 to 2 inches of rain. Storm surge and tidal flooding are the greatest concerns. 2 to 4 feet of surge with 15 to 25 foot high waves will make the highway over the islands of the Outer Banks impassable in places and will wash out the roads in certain areas. This is not going to be a major blow to the area, but it will be a pretty big inconvenience over the next couple of days. So if we go to the track from the National Hurricane Center, this is the latest track. As of 5 p.m., maximum sustained winds were still 80 miles per hour. That's a Category 1 hurricane. And the movement was north at 7 miles per hour. That general motion is going to continue through the day on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, a hard right-hand turn will start out, will kick in, and it'll take this out to sea. So if we go look at the impacts from the National Hurricane Center, what they're saying, 2 to 4 foot storm surge from Cape Lookout to Duck, including the sound side of the Outer Banks. Sound side flooding will probably be worse. Will be one of the more pressing concerns in the storm. 1 to 2 inches of rain, large swells generated by Maria. Life-threatening, life-threatening riptides. Don't go out in the ocean. It's not worth it right now. Overall, this is going to be a minor event for the Outer Banks. Certain areas that, see it worse, Pea Island, etc., they will get it, worse than the other areas. Just like everywhere, if you live in that section of the country, you know the deal, and you're going to make it through this storm perfectly fine. So we will go to the aircraft reconnaissance, and they are making a pass through the hurricane right now. And as you can see, the closer you get to the system, the center of the system, winds are relaxing. It's not your typical hurricane anymore. Strongest winds are well out from the center, both on all 4 sides. Pressure is still in the 960s appears, as they haven't reached the center yet, and they're already pulling out 967. But again, overall, this is a glancing blow, not a huge deal. Couple days of flooding, some inconvenience. Roads washed out, roads impassable. They'll be clear again in 48 hours. So let's go on over to the radar as the outer bands are starting to spin onshore. Again, the rainfall is going to be light as it's just not going to make it that close to the coast. So you can see you got a couple bands moving through here, going to reach Cape Hatteras in the next several hours, Morehead City up in this area here. As the storm moves a little bit north and due east of the Outer Banks, the winds will switch from off the ocean to a more northerly wind, which will, after it pumps the water in this way, it's going to cause sound side flooding on the bay side of the Outer Banks. So over the next day or two, water is going to be pushed in, And then as the storm gets north and east of the Outer Banks, winds will be pushed back towards the Sound through to the backside of the Outer Banks. Again, it's not a major system. This is going to be a quick update. Maria is thankfully not nearing the coast as close as we could have had. Does not look like it's going to be on the eastern edge of this cone, the western edge of this cone. If it were to pass on the western edge, we would get gusts to 80, possibly, 3 to 4 inches of rain, but that does not seem to be the case. I do like the National Hurricane Center track. It's pretty much a due north movement right now. Trough kicks this out to sea very quickly. As you can see, in 2 days, it is well east of Bermuda after that. Northeast of Bermuda, but way out to sea, and only 2 days after the closest approach to the Outer Banks. So that's about it. If you live in the Outer Banks, if you got a sandbag where you live, 2 to 4 foot of storm surge, 1 to 2 inches of rain, gusts to 60 miles per hour, sound side flooding, roads impassable, but overall not as bad as it could have been. You're going to be fine in a couple days. Share this video, let them know that they're going to be alright. Follow me on Twitter, Stormforce_1, and have a good night, guys.